Welcome to She Rebel Radio, the podcast for high-performing women leaders who want to unlearn conventional rules, leave prestigious careers, and launch businesses of significance. Each week, She Rebel Radio brings you insights and advice from women entrepreneurs who transformed their prestige prisons into daring entrepreneurial success stories. Now, here is your host, Lulu Nins.
Welcome to episode 2 of She Rebel Radio, how to create more time and discipline in your business. And this comes from content from a blog that I wrote a good few years ago called Routine is the Key to Freedom. And this has been one of my most popular blogs that I have sent to clients, potential clients, and always gets interaction when it's posted and reposted. And the real gold here is creating routine, which creates the freedom, which I know is a huge part of why you've started a business in the first place. But having the freedom to adapt that routine is absolutely key. So I'm going to share with you today my top 10 tips that I've learned to really create a routine that gives me freedom and in turn creates more time and more discipline in my business. My name's Lulu Mins. I'm an advocate and award-winning coach for women in business, helping you to leave those prestigious positions and to start businesses of significance. Now, if you don't know me and my background, I spent 11 years as a court advocate working in the criminal courts and the prisons for those 11 years. And anyone who has worked in a similar field within courts or just coming from that real corporate systems and structure, quite patriarchal, that comes from, I quite often say, a world designed by men for men and not women, that it makes us very used to strict rules, strict routine, and a linear structure, which, as we know, going through the education system and moving up through corporate and the court system is the king of the hierarchical system. And that's what I grew up in from the age of 21. It can be a real support to our success. But certainly for me, and I know for many of my clients, when they are wanting to move away from that, what tends to happen is we reject those systems, those structures, those rules, that linear approach, and that masculine organization, full stop. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And that's exactly what every single one of my clients that has worked with me as women coming from that world in a desperate need to find their feminine, to find their freedom, to find their flow, that they reject all the systems and structures that have supported their success when they start their business. And that can become detrimental. And that includes myself. Growing up in that world, I really wanted my feminine, my freedom, and my flow. So I hear you. I know how that feels. I know it more than most. And I have seen my clients going through that battle of trying to reject it. Now, I wanted to go to a yoga class whenever I wanted at 10 o'clock in the morning, come back, have some lunch. Then I'd hit my kind of sleepy time of day and I just wasn't being super productive. So I found that freedom being a big part of why I started my business became really false-lived because I felt like I should be working on my business every hour that I had. So the evenings, the daytime, and the weekends, because I had no systems and structure or routine that I was working around. I was all about the freedom and the flow. So when I was asked to do something fun, for example, I found that I was in the same position of, having to work, which is why I'd left a huge part, amongst many other reasons. When you have a conversation with me, we can go into those reasons. It's always a very long story and really connect on that level. But it was that was a huge reason, is to find my freedom. It's a core value for me. And that was starting to erode with this belief that I had my freedom and flow because I was ditching the systems and the structures and the routines. So what I'm going to share with you today, so keep with me in episode 2, is 10 top tips that you can implement today within your business, whether that's full-time, whether it's a side hustle and you're coasting in between. It doesn't matter how busy you are. These top 10 tips are absolutely going to help you create more time and discipline in your business, which, as we have started to uncover here, equals more freedom. And that freedom really comes when you have the system and structure and the ability to adapt it, but you need some kind of system and structure to give you that freedom. So let's dive in to my top 10 tips. The first one is to color code your diary, to have an online diary that is accessible to you, accessible to friends and family, accessible to any team members that you have, and color code it so you know that you've got that balance in there, that you've got the yin and the yang and the masculine and the feminine, and really importantly within that is you've got the self-care pieces and the friends and family pieces. Now I have a history of being a little bit of a workaholic. I do love to work. It's always been a huge part of me and my identity. And I used to, as a criminal defence lawyer, which you've just heard about, I would work 12 days in a row, doing the weekend shift at the police station so I could have the following weekend off. So I'd all be about work for 12 days, rock solid. No self-care, no friends and family, no time for me. And actually, when I was in those social environments, I absolutely had nothing to talk about because all I've been doing is working. And particularly in the last couple of years, the last thing I wanted to be talking about was work. So I really wasn't very sociable, and I was really needing to kind of lock myself away to recharge my batteries to kind of get back out there in the world and do the next stint of work that I had. So color coding my diary, this is one of the very first things I implemented in my business because I'd have great joy in putting my self-care in blue. That is still the case to this day. My yoga classes would go in first because, again, that gave me great joy, and it still gives me great joy to have that time to do those yoga classes. I put my meditation in at the same time every single day in the color blue, in the color of self-care for me, which, is indicates calm, blue mind. If you've heard of that, Lizzie, that's a shout out to you in terms of it signifies relaxing. So I'd put that in blue. That still happens to this day. Friends and family in yellow, so I know that they're in there as well. I have coaching in purple. I have networking, marketing, conversations, content creating in red, because that is a huge part of your business. And then in the early stages of my business, I had other little streams of income and things like that coming in. So I think I had that in brown because that wasn't my focus. So color code your diary, do it in a way that feels good to you. And then when you pull your diary up on your Mac or whatever you use, you can see that you have got the balance there, and you can see that you've got the self-care, the relaxation, the feminine, the flow. And if it's not in there, there's a problem. So that's the first thing. Number 2 is taking half an hour on a Sunday. That's the day that always works for me. But if that doesn't feel good to you, on a Monday morning or on a Friday at the end of the week, to really schedule that in. So to put that color-coded diary in, to do a to-do list of things that you need to get done that week, things that are a priority, things that would be great to get done but maybe need to be rolled over, things that can go to somebody else, and really set powerful intentions as well to focus that week. I like to get up on a Monday morning and know exactly what my diary is looking like and what I'm supposed to be doing and when. Otherwise, things go out the window. So taking that half an hour Sunday is a real top tip, and I hope you do that, or find a time that feels good to you. You don't have to follow. Remember, there are no rules. These are just top tips and suggestions. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and really change and fiddle around with it in a way that feels good to you. Number 3 is topping and tailing your day. So topping and tailing your day, particularly if you're spending time on social media and things like that, it can be a great time suck. It can be massively distracting, but it could create massive income and things like that for you as well. So if you top and tail your day, so first thing, you do your social media and your emails, and last thing, you do your social media and emails, and possibly some mindset work and things like that as well. And then you've got the meat, the chunk of the day in the middle to do the other stuff in however that looks for you. So again, in the early stages, you need to be scheduling this in your diary. So you might have 8 a.m, your mindset work for half an hour, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour, what feels good to you. And then 9 a.m, literally schedule it in, answering my emails, posting my social media. And there will become a point in your business that this just becomes natural, that you don't need it really scheduled in every single little bit. But in the early stages, you absolutely do, until it becomes second nature to you and you do it anyway. And then there's all the other stuff that's in your diary, because you become busier as you work within your business over a longer period of time. So number 4 is I have a different focus for every day. I coach on certain days, I serve clients on certain days, I host workshops on certain days, and then other days I have planning my business, creating content, marketing, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give you a very brief run through on how I do that. So on Mondays, that's my admin day. And it's my content creation day. And this has changed throughout my business over the last 4 years that I've been in business full time without being in an employed job as well. So it's planning and creating content on Monday. So I'm creating content for the week. And that, when I say that, it means I'm planning it, I'm writing it, I'm putting notes out for it. And I'm planning the rest of the week, anything that I may have missed on the Sunday, doing banking, catching up on emails. I might follow up on some people that I've networked with the week before that I haven't had time at the end of the week. So it's really getting all my ducks in a row. It might be tidying the office. It could be loads of stuff. It's a real admin and sorting out day and getting things done, phone calls that I might need to make and all of that stuff. But I like it to be a real feminine day where I don't necessarily have any appointments and don't even need to talk to anyone if I don't want to do that. So again, you will see throughout this, it's the real balance of the yin and the yang and the masculine and feminine, which is really important for me, and I know it is for you as well. Tuesdays is my content creating, being visual that day. So I'm out there, I'm in the world. I am recording podcasts. That's my Tuesday. I am getting a live training out into my group. I'm being visual. People can find me on social media and see me out there sharing stuff, creating trainings and all of that. So that is generally my Tuesday. Wednesday is a coaching day, always a coaching day, and that might be for current clients or potential clients. Thursdays, and this is very rough, as I said, it's malleable, it changes. Thursdays, networking, marketing, catching up with people for coffees, again, following up those appointments, making sure I've got appointments and conversations booked in for the next few weeks. I also go to a yoga class at 12 o'clock on a Thursday, most weeks, not every week. There's always been one of my favourite yoga classes on that day. Today is a Thursday that I'm recording this, and I spend a bit of time at the spa. So it's quite often a bigger picture business planning day for me, a Thursday, if I've got some self-care, because I always tie that in around the self-care, because that's when my great ideas come on the yoga mat and all of that stuff. When I'm not actually working, in inverted commas, I'm creating space to create and look at the bigger picture and the bigger vision. Friday is always a coaching day. It's my group mastermind day, which I absolutely love. It's a day when I host workshops. Lots of my one-to-one clients are around, VIP days, spa and coaching days, that kind of stuff. And yeah, because lots of my clients might be in their corporate jobs 2 or 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week. Lots of people choose to be off on a Friday, so it works amazingly well for me to be a coaching day, and we call it Rebel Fridays in the She Rebel Club. So if you're not in the She Rebel Club on Facebook, we'd absolutely love you to have you there, and do join us for Rebel Fridays. Number 5 is really create some mantras around that you are getting better and better at creating more time or being more disciplined in your business. What you think about, you bring about. So really maybe look at what is getting in the way here and how you can flip that and create mantras which make you feel amazing, and start to create that more time and discipline in your business. And tune in with those mantras when you're doing mindset work in the morning. So one of mine, it used to be I'm creating more and more time when I felt time poor. You can be, bear in mind, in lack and scarcity of time just as much as you can be in lack and scarcity of money. Now that might be a whole different podcast episode, but I'm just going to throw that out there to you as some food for thought. One of my favourite mantras around this as well is no one messes with my yoga schedule. And that ties in, as we've heard, to top tip number 1, where my yoga and my self-care goes in first. Because if I don't serve me, if I'm not at a really high vibration, I can't serve my clients to the highest level that I know I am capable of. So my self-care goes in first. Complete mindset shift that when I put myself first, in that sense, everybody else around me benefits. So that goes in first. Number 6, only work on one bigness project at a time. I'm actually working on 2 at the moment, but this is year 5 in my business. So when you start out, you will get totally overwhelmed, and what will happen is you will probably end up doing nothing. So if you're launching a new website, a new program, a podcast, whatever it might be, my real advice to you would just be to focus on the one big thing at any one time, particularly if you're still in the corporate job, particularly if you've got one foot in and one foot out. Just one thing at a time. Get that done, get that ticked, get that goal met, get that intention served, and then move on to the next one. Number 7 is scheduling in a digital detox. Now, most of you have some kind of online presence and maybe spending significant time online, but not having a digital detox will eat into the time and discipline that you have in your business, because it will become so second nature for you to just dip in when there's a minute that you find, God, what have I done with the day? And you've been using social media on there without that intention. It's sucking time and discipline away. So switching it off one weekend out of every 4, or doing it every weekend, or going away for a week or 2, switching it off, doing it regularly. Again, if it's not in the diary, it's not happening. So I'm quite often fast forwarding through my diary going, when can I schedule in a digital detox? And I put it in the diary and then it happens. Number 8 is outsource tasks that you're not very good at, or that are not worth the value of your time. Now, that always depends on what income you've got coming into your business and whether you've still got income coming in from somewhere else. But really, do not spend all the time doing the stuff that you're not very good at when you could get somebody else to do it, because it will take you 3 times as long. Although I do feel like it's really important to learn your business from the bottom up. I was always like that as a lawyer. I'm always like that as a business owner. I want to know how to do things, even if I get someone else to do them more often than not. I want to know how to do them in order to provide that instruction as well. But I'll outsource those tasks and things that are worth a value of £10 or less, or £100 or less. Who can you get that to do that for you? Or is it that you need to get a cleaner? What is it that you need to do to get help with to create more time and discipline and put that within your business? Number 9, a really popular one, is knowing your power weeks. Ladies, it's so important, and I'm talking about your cycle, your menstrual cycle, is knowing your power weeks. I have lived like this, and we're going to have some special guests on the podcast talking about this. I have lived and practiced my business around this for the last 3 or so years, and it's so powerful. So your power weeks are roughly between day 5 or 6 to day 20 to 21. Day 1 is the first day that you bleed. So then, when you're through menstruation, etc., your energy gradually starts to build, and it builds through until you're premenstrual again. And that, again, I'm always checking through my diary. When are my power weeks? When can I pack more stuff in? When can I have more appointments? When can I have more client creation appointments, marketing, networking, podcasting, interviewing? When can I do all the stuff? Personal stuff as well. Yeah, going out on dates, seeing friends and family, taking kids out, all of that. When can I do that? Look at those 2 weeks, because you're going to be able to do a lot more, and then you need to start, really stepping it down and having more content creation and more of the internal work, mindset work, really creating things when you are day 21 up to day 5, so when you're premenstrual and menstruating. So as I said, I've got that overall plan for the week, but that changes depending on where I am in my menstrual cycle, and I'm always checking ahead and looking at how that's going to look for me for the month. Number 10 is check in, this is the final one, with your beliefs around money and success. If you're anything like me, and I'm constantly checking and working on this story, it's not that unlimiting beliefs disappear, it's just that we learn how to work with them and through them and change them and reprogram them, that it takes hard work to make money. So if you believe that, and there's always another layer to it, then you are going to eat into your time and not have any discipline and appear to be busy all the time to justify your existence and that there is money coming into your account. So you need to check in with what your beliefs are and start looking at that and changing it and shifting it. So ladies, it's been an honor to share these 10 tips with you today and to really talk about them and go into some depth. I would love to hear your takeaways in the comments in the She Rebel Club. And if you would like my support in your business in creating more time and discipline, then please do reach out to have a chat with me. I currently have spaces available in the Rebel Heart Club Mastermind from October onwards, which is when we are restarting, and I would love to speak to you as to how I can support you moving forward. Have an amazing day and look out for episode 3 coming really soon.
Thanks for listening to She Rebel Radio, the podcast for high-performing women leaders who want to unlearn conventional rules, leave prestigious careers, and launch businesses of significance. She Rebel Radio is executive produced and hosted by women's advocate and coach Lulu Mims. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can find Lulu Mims on Facebook and LinkedIn at Lulu Mims and on Instagram at LuluMims_biz. Until next week, keep rebelling against the rules and designing success your way.